Hi, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to episode 477 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Again, I'm sure you noticed no intro or theme song or anything tonight. Because just like yesterday, last night was just wanted it to be about Bray Wyatt, and tonight gonna talk about the special tribute episode of Smackdown for Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. So since this is a special tribute episode of SmackDown, I'll be talking about tonight. And once again, this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic is dedicated to both the memory of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk as well. It has been, of course, for all of us wrestling fans, a tough last 2 days. And so it's been kind of hard to get into any of the wrestling shows, because I know when I was watching Impact and Ring of Honor last night, I couldn't quite focus on them and get into the shows like I normally would. And tonight was kind of the same thing for Smackdown and Rampage as well. That's why on 360 Wrestling Fanatic last night, I decided just to talk about Bray Wyatt, remember him, kind of share some memories, instead of recapping the shows from last night. And tonight I'm gonna talk about the tribute episode of Smackdown and tonight's episode of AEW Rampage also. And Smackdown was in Louisville, Kentucky tonight. The commentators, Michael Cole, Kevin Patrick, and Corey Graves. We started with a nice graphic that was a split screen in memory of both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. And we have the roster at the entrance, and Michael Cole welcomes everyone to the show, and that's when he talks about Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. And we have the 10 bell salute, and then we go to a very nice tribute video for Bray Wyatt to a version of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. And our first match on SmackDown tonight, the new WWE United States Champion Rey Mysterio and Grayson Waller. I thought this one was a pretty good match, and I don't think tonight that I'm gonna do any ratings. I'm just don't feel like rating any of the matches tonight. Just with the last couple days, so no ratings tonight, but it was a pretty good match. Rey Mysterio getting the win over Grayson Waller. Then we see some of the tweets made by the WWE superstars paying tribute to Bray Wyatt, which was nice to see. And then we have the WWE Women's Championship on the line. Io Sky, along with the rest of Damage Control in her corner, Bayley and Dakota Kai, take on Zelina Vega. Pretty good match here. I was, once again, pretty impressed with Zelina Vega. But it is Io Sky getting the win to retain the WWE Women's Championship, where it looked like Vega was in control, but then they went to the floor and Sky threw her into the steel steps, got her back in the ring, did the over the moonsault for the win. Still WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky. And then next up, we have Cody Rhodes out to pay tribute to Terry Funk, which of course was a pretty good choice, because Terry Funk, of course, had a long history with Cody's dad, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I thought Cody did a good job here. Of course, he told a story of one time when he was a kid, and he heard somebody yell at Dusty and call him an egg-sucking dog. And then he goes to a tribute video for Terry Funk, which this one was also done very well. That is definitely one good thing that WWE does great, and that is the special tribute videos. The one we saw earlier for Bray Wyatt was done very well, and also the Terry Funk one, really good. We saw his early stuff in the NWA and WCW, WWE, and then when him and his brother Dory Funk Jr. were inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2009. And Cody Rhodes announces at this time that the next match is going to be a Terry Funk hardcore tag team match, and it is the Brawling Brutes, Ridge Holland and Butch, taking on the Street Profits. And these two teams, I should say, they start off pretty good, kind of basic, hardcore match. And then we see Bobby Lashley making his way out. And the Street Profits get the win by defeating the Brawling Brutes. And then during the night, we saw the first promos, video packages, or one of them, I should say, of the Wyatt family. And then we saw the debut of The Fiend and the first episode of the Firefly Funhouse and his return to Extreme Rules last year. Our main event tonight on this special episode of Smackdown is LA Knight and Finn Balor, which Bray Wyatt did feud with Finn Balor, and then LA Knight had Bray Wyatt's last match at the Royal Rumble, which was the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. And unfortunately, I wouldn't say that was the best Bray Wyatt match there was, but I definitely wouldn't blame it on either him or LA Knight either. But that was his last match with LA Knight. And LA Knight, I thought, cut a very good promo before the match. And these two had a pretty good main event. LA Knight getting the win. And then after the match, the lights go out. And we see all the fireflies in the crowd. And in the middle of the ring is the lantern of Bray Wyatt. Which reminds me, I don't know why I didn't mention this earlier at the beginning. After the 10 bell salute, they did something similar where at the entrance the lights went out and there was the rocking chair, and they focused on that. That was at the beginning of Smackdown tonight, right after the 10 bell salute, and then to close Smackdown tonight, the lantern in the ring. And that was tonight's Smackdown tribute episode to both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, which I have to give WWE credit. I thought this was a very good show tonight. A very nice tribute. And I don't mean to complain. I'm not complaining about it. But I kind of thought that we might get maybe like we have seen on some of the tribute shows before, where some of the wrestlers pre-tape interviews in the back, kind of like they did with Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero. But that's still a good show tonight. And I'm sure there'll definitely will be mentions of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk on Raw Monday as well. I thought it was really nice that they did this double tribute episode for both of them. I thought that was good. So now, AEW Rampage on TNT tonight, which was actually recorded last week, but they did add an in memory of graphic for Bray Wyatt before the show started. We start off Rampage tonight, which was taped last week, like I said, and our first match is for the AEW International Championship. Orange Cassidy taking on Aaron Solo with Harley Cameron. Pretty good opener for the show. Harley Cameron gets involved, and one time they're ringside, and then Orange Cassidy does the OC kicks to her. And Orange Cassidy ends up getting the win over Aaron Solo to successfully defend the AEW International Championship. And next up we have a sit-down interview that Jim Ross conducted with the AAA Latin American Championship, QT Marshall. He discusses going over there in Mexico, winning the title. I thought this was a pretty well done interview. And next up, the AAA Latin American Championship is on the line. QT Marshall takes on Gravity. I actually enjoyed this match, and it is Marshall getting the win over Gravity. This is a good one here, actually. I recommend checking it out if you did not see it. And then we hear from the Dark Order discussing their new attitude. And Luchasaurus defeats Ren Jones. And in the main event on Rampage tonight, tag team action, the Outcasts, Saraya, and the AEW Women's Champion, or former AEW Women's Champion, I should say, Toni Storm, take on Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and the current AEW Women's Champion, Hikaru Shida. Pretty good main event. And Saraya, after some miscommunication between Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida, gets the pin over Baker to get the win for the Outcasts. And then after the match, both Saraya and Toni Storm are holding on to the title, and neither one of them want to let go. And these four women will be competing for that AEW Women's Championship this Sunday at All in London. So that was tonight's AEW Rampage. And I thought it was a good show. If this was maybe another week, I might have sounded more excited talking about it. But like I said, with unfortunately the last 2 days was just, and again, why I didn't recap the episodes of Impact and Ring of Honor on the podcast last night. It just kind of would have been a little hard for me to just recap the shows, and so that's why last night's episode was dedicated to the memory of Bray Wyatt. Once again, though, I just want to say tonight's Smackdown, I thought was a very nice tribute show for both Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. And once again, this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic is dedicated to the memories of both Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. And that's all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow morning for this Saturday episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. 360... whatever the show in the morning is called. Good morning wrestling fans. Sorry about that. Got a little frustrated with myself there. I'm just going to end the podcast now. And once again, rest in peace, Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Both of you will be missed very much by everyone in the pro wrestling world, the fans, and all the wrestlers, and referees, announcers, everyone else behind the scenes. So once again, rest in peace, and you both will be missed very much.